Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Power English for Foreign Execs. My name's Deanne, and welcome. It's been a while again since I saw you last. And by the title of what you see today, we're going to talk about the opposite of what we talked about in the previous episode of the previous video. Last time in the previous video, we talked about cultural nuances of rich and wealthy, and we had some descriptors about being wealthy. And so today, I'm doing the opposite, talking about cultural nuances of the term poor. Now, I know you must be thinking, why am I talking about this for executives who are either working? By the way, this channel is for foreign execs who are working in American-based companies, either in their home country or here in the United States where I am, or those who seek to work in those companies. So, as I said, why you may be asking, why am I talking about this? Well, very large American companies are uh, very interested in how they have, or the impact that they have in their communities. And many of the larger companies, corporations, have a separate department sometimes called corporate social responsibility. And what is that? That is a department that is developed solely to really enhance and to show to the world or to the local community how they are impacting their local community where their businesses or offices are based. And it really is to show goodwill or advocacy of what they do. So you as an employee of that company should be aware not only of the product or service that your company has, but how the company impacts the community locally, regionally, nationally, if not indeed globally. And it also fosters or engenders feeling of goodwill by customers or people in the community that are socially conscious, socially aware, and says, when we think of the name or we hear the name of your company, it fosters goodwill. It fosters a feeling that even if I'm not able to buy the product because that's not a product that I use, but I certainly have good feelings about how the company is involved in my community. So, for example, if you're working for a steel company, perhaps they are dedicated in their practices to helping to reduce carbon emissions. They're involved in the infrastructure of the community. They may donate part of their profits to disaster relief locally, nationally, or globally. When we had Hurricane Katrina in the United States several years ago, many corporations who are not involved in relief still pool their monies to help those individuals. And also, they may give to charities that support schools, hospitals, nonprofit organizations. So when you are aware that your company is involved not only in wealthy endeavors, but also endeavors to help all peoples, it enhances the name or the impact of your organization. So you should be really aware of that. By the way, there is an expression called well, before I do that, poor, the word poor can refer to a person, to a community, to a household, to people, to a lifestyle. And so it's not just to a person only. And then cash poor. Cash poor is an expression that we use for people who have financial means, but up to a point. They may live in a very uh, wonderful, wealthy neighborhood, and from the outside, everything looks great, but they may not be able, because they're either heavily invested in other things, they don't have the cash to live there. They may not be able to pay their mortgage on time, or may not even be able to pay their utility bills, you know. But from the outside, everything, oh my goodness, so and so lives in that neighborhood, and automatically you say, oh my goodness, yes, that person is indeed wealthy, but may not be the case. So cash poor is a concept that you need to know. So there is a proverb that we have that says, do not judge a book by its cover. Do not judge a book by its cover, which is a phrase that reminds us that what we may see at first glance may not be the true story. So don't always, just like a book, the cover of a book may not really outline for you the content of what is in the book, just like when you see someone's appearance for the first time, you are judging them by that appearance and not by what that person is like. So do not judge a book by its cover, which comes in handy, uh, a proverb, when so many things that we see are just uh, they're just a face, but not substance behind that face, or there's something entirely different. So the words that I'm going to use today, by the way, I've doubled up on some of these words, but I will just give you these 10 that I have. It's resource poor, economically challenged, disadvantaged, down and out, needy, uh, underprivileged, penniless, barely scraping by, indigent, and undeserving poor. There seems to be, when I look this up, more descriptors for poor than there were descriptors for wealthy, because it's interesting that you can say, oh, that person is wealthy, or you are wealthy, but you really can't say to someone directly, you are poor. That sounds very negative, very condescending. Uh, and you don't want to be treated that way, so you don't want to treat another person that way. So there are so many words that we use to say poor in different ways. And you want to be, here's another expression, politically correct, or PC, the letters PC, politically correct, or some people may say politically correct, meaning that you want to avoid offending a group of people, a community, a lifestyle, a household. So you find different ways to be non-offensive or non-offending. So the first one, resource poor. Resource poor can be a community where there is a lack of food, or food insecurity, or food insecure neighborhoods. Uh, there is not enough to go around, or that people have to go very far to get resources like food, like healthcare. They may have to walk a long way, take a bus, or drive a car. Many cannot afford a car. Some can barely afford to get on a bus or a subway to get to their grocer or to their doctor or to a health clinic. So, an example, I'll try to give examples in sentences. Let me see. The rural, RURAL, the rural village, which was resource poor and isolated, struggled to access clean water and adequate healthcare services. And you noticed I said adequate healthcare services. Rarely is it excellent healthcare services in resource poor neighborhoods or communities. Next one, economically challenged. Economically challenged. An example, the community center offers free workshops and resources to support economically challenged families in budgeting and financial management. So when those facilities offer economically challenged families, they're saying they want to do something to lift the family out of poverty or to increase their current skills on budgeting so they can get their families better services, better access to, for example, healthcare and educational services. The other one, disadvantaged. Now, disadvantaged can mean many different things, but it's really without access to privileged care. So without access to good education, good social advantages of the middle class and up. So the sentence, she grew up disadvantaged without the benefit of a stable home environment. She grew up disadvantaged without the benefit of a stable home environment. Okay, that's disadvantaged. Now the next one, down and out, and they're all hyphenated. Down, D-O-W and hyphen, A-N-D hyphen, out, O-U-T. Down and out on his or her luck. So that could mean also being financially strapped. You can't come out of that strap of being tight on finances. You don't have much. So an example of the sentence, and I'd like you to listen to this, repeat the video also. So after losing his job and facing eviction or homelessness, he felt like he was truly down and out with nowhere to turn for help. After losing his job and facing eviction or homelessness, he felt like he was truly down and out with nowhere to turn for help. So your organization might be very supportive of just those particular neighborhoods or communities. They're called them down and out neighborhoods or down and out citizens or people. And they may do that on an ongoing basis and not just, like once a year or something like that. The fifth one is needy, and I have three definitions for that. The first one, needy. Needy could mean you're lacking the necessities of life, the basic necessities. So you need the basic necessities of life, meaning You need money, you need food, you need clothing, you need healthcare, etc. So, example, the local churches and synagogues coordinated to provide food and housing for needy families in the community. So the churches and synagogues got together and combined their resources to provide food and to provide housing. That's really great for needy families in the community. Another way that you could use this, it's an adjective, is emotional attachment, that someone who seeks constant and significant affection and attention. And we'll say the the needy child was always seeking his parents' attention for everything. Mommy, daddy, did you see me do this? Mommy, daddy, do you love me? And they'll say that, maybe morning, noon, and night. How much do you love me? Do you love me? Did you see that I did this? Isn't this great? Isn't it? That's a very needy child. So, as a child, Robert was very needy and lacked self-confidence. As a child, Robert was very needy and lacked self-confidence. Hopefully, he will have grown out of that as he got older. And then needy can also be a noun. So, for example, the sign on the truck said, help the needy in your community. Help the needy in your, we don't have to say the needy families, the needy people, the needy children. It's just the sign on the truck read, help the needy in your community. If you're liking this, I invite you to subscribe if you haven't already, or click the like button or comment. Would love to hear what you think about these and the other descriptions that will come after this, and whether your comment is short or not, or if you have suggestions for future topics that you'd like to hear about with Power English in mind, let me know. And it's great for the algorithm for YouTube so that they can push this video out to others. And also, I would like to know what you think. So please share with me. I'd really love to hear what you think. And also, if you are seeking help to navigate within the American workplace, or you're challenged by a particular issue, I have been a headhunter for many, many years, and would love to talk with you and to help you in any way that I can. So you can get my contact information below in the description box. Okay, the next word, underprivileged. Underprivileged, one word. So it's those who do not have access to the privileges of maybe of the upper middle class, the ultra upper middle class, or even for the working class. So they don't have the access to better economic, nutritional, and or educational or social access. So, for example, the charity organization provided educational opportunities and scholarships to underprivileged children in rural, RURAL, communities. I'm thinking right now of someone who, well, he's currently a new senator in the United States. He had been raised in a very rural, very disadvantaged community, underprivileged community. and he was able to get access and scholarships to be able to graduate from Yale Law School, wrote a New York Times bestseller book about his upbringing, became in this poorest of circumstances, became a venture capitalist, uh, and now was just voted in as a new senator in his state. So from disadvantaged and underprivileged and down and out circumstances, people can rise up. So do not think that because someone comes from these circumstances that they cannot rise to succeed in the world and compete. They can. They can. And sometimes they may have even stronger moral fiber than those who are wealthy but lack the moral center and focus. So do not judge a book by its cover. Okay, next one. Penniless. Penniless or impoverished means having no money, no home or clothing. Usually, this word I usually see in very old novels. Someone was penniless or lived in debtor's prison because they had no money, couldn't pay their bills. Example, after years of reckless spending, he found himself penniless with nothing left to his name except a few old belongings. Belongings could be just very sparse things, the clothes on his back, maybe a little suitcase, if that, or just to wrap up his clothing into, an old bag or an old plastic bag or something, but penniless. And the next one, barely scraping by or struggling, or what's another one? Poverty-stricken. So barely scraping by, scraping the bottom of the barrel, struggling very hard, and poverty, stricken with poverty, stricken with poverty, poverty-stricken. Example, they were barely scraping by with little food, little economic resources, no health insurance. So they had to balance between buying food or paying their bills, or buying food or buying medicine. Those are the constant balancing acts every single day, every single day. The other one, indigent, Indigent, indigent. You usually see this descriptor in policymaking legislation or economic research reports done by research institutions or at universities. So an example would be the government report presented specific ways to immediately support indigent communities following the hurricane. So indigent means very poor, extremely poor. Not much economic access at all. And food, very low supply. That's an every single day occurrence. Every single day. And The last one, we have is the last one we have is undeserving poor. Undeserving poor. This is a very interesting one. They're not poor. They didn't start off that way. They're not poor, but they're undeserving. It's being reckless with their money, and they poorly prioritize. They use very bad judgment in how they use their money. Okay, let me see if I can. Do I have a sentence with this? Yes. The family was reckless with its money and could not afford to take care of their animals or their pets, but they could afford luxury vacations. They could afford expensive dinners, but they could not afford to take care of their animals or pets that were malnourished or not nourished well or fed well. So they would ask people for money to help them take care of their animals. But at the same time, they had enough money to go on fabulous vacations and have, luxurious or expensive dinners. But they can't take care of their animals or pets. Would you be helping them, these undeserving poor? Okay, so I have some bonus words, just two of them. One is hand to mouth, HAND, hand to mouth. That's similar to barely scraping by. That is, they were living hand to mouth after their father lost his business. So they were living hand to mouth, very barely economically able to afford daily living. And the other one is hard up, HARDUP. It's an idiom. It means that you cannot help someone right now. So I can't lend you any money because I'm hard up right now. Meaning I can give you money maybe next month. I can lend you some money next month, but right now, no good. Have nothing to spare to lend you. I'm just finished paying my bills. I'm hard up right now. Don't have anything to offer to you. So that's it. I hope that you have picked up on a few things, maybe not all, but if you play this again, I hope that you'll be able to get a better understanding of these cultural nuances. The word poor is it's very interesting, but these will help you understand not only about how your company can be more, uh, show more corporate social responsibility, or that they have really shown a lot of corporate responsibility for communities that are in need, or which are needy, or which are impoverished, or indigent, or resource poor. And you can build your already powerful English vocabulary. Build it even more. I'm so glad you're able to join me today. So have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.